Hey there. I was making a couple of videos out here in the garden and walking back across the yard. I made a discovery. I found some volunteer tomatoes. I don't know if you can see them. They're right there at the tip of that stick. But these little plants right here are some tomato plants. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like there's 4 of them right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I don't want to dig them up because I'll probably damage them. There's a lot of roots in there from the grass there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to nurture these. And I'm just going to let them grow right where they are. So what I'll do is there's a possibility I may have more pop up here, more growing. So I'll keep an eye out, see what I can see, and of course look out in this area. And this is where I had some pots sitting that had, planter pots, that had some tomatoes in them this past year. So they sat here, and apparently some tomatoes had, fallen to the ground and decomposed. And there's some results of that. The seeds are sprouting. So I need to keep an eye out over here and see what else I can find. I might be able to take some and transplant them over into the garden, or just have this as my tomato garden. So probably what I'll end up doing is mulching around these, feeding them some good nutrients, maybe some water from my compost tea, and see if I can get these little boogers growing. Maybe I'll get some good tomatoes off of these this year. Anyway, one thing you'll find whenever you do gardening is you will always find volunteer plants popping up here and there, because there's always seeds. And guess what? You can't see it in the picture, but over there I just noticed another one. So anyway, I got me a little tomato garden started right here. And it's about 5 feet away from my potatoes. So I'll show you. Let me zoom out a little bit. Oh, that is zoomed out. And so right there's my potatoes. And right here, right in this area. Right down there, I'm seeing a couple of little more. I don't know if you can see them, but right in there I see one more at least. And it's a little bitty. So instead of mowing this up, I'm gonna keep an eye on those, and I'm gonna grow me some tomatoes right there. And I'll make videos later on my progress on that. Have fun gardening. On to gardening, one day at a time. Hey there, this is Donald again. I've got some Vermi compost update for you. I'm sitting here. I was digging through it today. This is the one I did the videos on a few months back. I just let it sit in here and just let it do its thing. And so I started digging through it a little bit and figured I'd put some of that around one of my tomato plants I got growing. So let me show you what I've got here. Throw my glasses on real quick so I can see. All right, think you can see that? That right there is the compost, and you can see eggshells in there. You can see stuff. You can see where I've been digging, and man, it smells. This is the one I had the vermi, the infestation in, and I ended up with those big larvae. So I just let it sit and let it do its thing, so I could just see what happens with it. So I started digging through it, and I put some in a bucket. And anyway, I've got some in a bucket. So let me show you what I've got. There it is right there. I mean, look at it. It's deep dark. I mean, it looks good. So I'm going to put some of this around the tomato plant I've got. And I've already put a bunch of other stuff around the little tomato plant too. And I did a video on the volunteer tomatoes that showed up out in next to my garden, and those are the ones I'm going to put this around. So I'll do a video on that here in a little while, but anyway, look at that. Man, I wish you could smell that. All right, so here I am. Oh, got my fingers in the way. So here I am. It's Sunday afternoon. It's a nice sunshiny day out here. And so anyway, got some work to do. Talk to you later. Bye. All right, so my volunteer tomatoes are getting bigger. So I've been bringing scraps from the kitchen out here and putting them around it, like coffee grounds, coffee filters, other junk that we had, that we just didn't want to just throw in the trash or anything like that. So I decided to go ahead and start putting it around my volunteer tomatoes. So I know this is kind of gross when you look at it, but when you see what I'm going to do here, then you'll understand. But anyway, here we go. That right there is my volunteer tomatoes, and I've been putting junk around it, like I think that was beans or something on top there, and then I got coffee grounds, coffee filters, even an old banana, odds and ends. So anyway, that's what it looks like right now. It looks like crap, but got a bunch of flies on it. But I'm getting ready to cover it with cardboard, and also the compost that I got from in there, from my Vermi compost bin. So anyway, look at that. Isn't that pretty? So that's not pretty. This is. So I'll give you an update here in a little bit. All right. So anyway, yucky job, but it's going to turn out pretty good. And I'll give you an update on this later. All right. See ya. Bye. Okay. So what I did is I tore a hole in the middle of the cardboard, and I put it around on top of that, all that junk I was putting around the volunteer tomatoes, and moved or put the cardboard there on top of it. And this is what we've got here. So anyway, this is my so I've got all that junk underneath it, and then my tomatoes are coming up in here, and got a little one there too. I'll put some leaves and stuff down in there and stuff. So now I'm going to put the compost on top of the cardboard, and get my volunteer tomatoes composted up there. And as this grows, I'm just going to keep adding to my compost and to other stuff that I put in there. So I'll keep on giving you some updates, and be back in just a minute. Okay, the compost is now on around the tomatoes on top of the cardboard, and maybe sometime during this following week, I'll come out here and I'll add, maybe a border around it, put some wood around it, kind of make myself a little raised bed type thing around this. But this is a good start for right now. So let me show you what I got. So there's my little tomato bed. That's my volunteer tomatoes. And so I put the cardboard over, the junk that I had around it, all the coffee grounds and coffee filters and other odds and ends that I put around it, old beans that we didn't eat and stuff like that. So this is compost from my Vermi compost bin, and that right there is a 5-gallon bucket. So that kind of gives you an idea, of the size of my little tomato plants there and how they're doing. So I took all of that and I put all that around it. I think that's probably all the compost I'm going to do for a good while. I think I'm going to put whenever I build me a little border around it, I'm going to put some potting soil mix or something in there as well. Maybe some grass clippings, other odds and ends, maybe. I don't know. I'll just see how it goes. And anyway, I'll give you some updates on that later. And anyway, again, this is Donald, and if you like my videos, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. Talk to me, ask me questions, make comments, and subscribe to my channel if you like to. And I do this because I enjoy it. I love getting outside, and I love watching my gardens grow, and I love I love good tomatoes. Yeah, so anyway, this is part of my gardening series. So I've been working, I don't know, year and a half, doing a few odds and ends videos, and I always end it with on to gardening, one day at a time. See you, bye. All right, I'm out in my shed. I was come out here to look for some wood. I was going to put around my volunteer tomatoes that I got. I was going to build me a little raised bed there. And I've got a lot of cardboard out here that I've had, set back for putting down on the ground, as a cover, and then put, dirt and compost and stuff on top of, so that I could have my raised bed gardens. So anyway, I come in here and I start looking through some of my my cardboard to see, what I'm gonna use, on my next little garden spot. So I was thinking of, doing a 4x4, little garden spot, raised bed. So anyway, I come out here and I move some cardboard around, and let me show you what I found. You still there? Yeah, okay. So I've got some cardboard here, and look what I see right there. Do you see that? That's an ugly old spider. But anyway, when I pulled this cardboard back, I counted 5 good-sized spiders. But that one right there, you see him? Look at him. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, I believe, I don't want you to get too close to him because he's a big booger. I believe that is a brown recluse. I'm not really positive, but I do have brown recluses out here, and they are ugly, and they are big and they're fast. But I counted like 5 of them in here, and they, everybody says bugs love cardboard, and of course here where I live, it's common to see brown recluse and other types of spiders. We've got, I've identified them with that little fiddle thing on their back, like a little shape of a fiddle on their back. You look at their pictures and you'll understand what I mean. A fiddle is like a little violin, so you got to be very, very careful. And oh, look at that, worms. Oh man, I need to put those in my Vermi compost bin. Oh, see, and there's no little, I don't know what that one is, but there's little spiders all in here. So got to be careful. I need to get in here and get those worms up. All right, worms love cardboard too. So anyway, I got to be careful while I'm out here, because I don't want to get bit by no damn spider. Anyway, just gotta keep your eyes open. Always look before you stick your hand anywhere. Always keep your eyes open for any kind of spider. And of course around here we have snakes as well, but it's more common to run across spiders than it is snakes. But out here in the shed, when you're digging around out in here, I've got junk all in here, and I got a lot of cardboard back here. So we're gonna have a lot of spiders, possibly mice. I've seen cats in here. I've seen possum come in here. I saw a raccoon in here one day. I saw a bobcat in here one day. I saw a what do they call it? A chicken snake in here one day. Some people call them black snakes, but I think it was a chicken snake. Birds come in here and make nests, odds and ends, especially up here, wasp nest, all kinds of stuff. So when you're digging around out here, or anywhere you are, you got to keep your eyes open, you got to keep your ears open, and always look before you reach. Be safe. So anyway, just a safety update. Protect yourself. You don't want to get bit by a spider, especially a brown recluse. And of course, around here, we also have the black widow spiders. They're black, you know, with little red dots on them. They're not aggressive like the brown recluse or some of the others, but they're still here, and they're still very, very dangerous. So anyway, just a safety update. Just keep your eyes open and look before you reach, because you will get bit by a spider if you don't. Anyway, see you later. This is Donald. Talk to you later. Bye. Yeah, I'll come outside to drink a cup of coffee, and I'll come outside to drink a cup of coffee, and I look over at my volunteer tomatoes, and wouldn't you know it, some animal, some critter, decided to get into it and start digging around. I guess it smelled something down in there it liked, so I figured it'd go in there and get something to eat. Let me put that down, I'll show you. All right, let's go over here. Okay, look at this mess. Oh my gosh. So the critter dug it out and got him a little bite to eat and left a mess. So I've got to fix that today. It looks horrible. Oh God. So anyway, let me put that all back together. All right, get my shadow out of the way. But this is the hazards of, you know, doing crazy shit like this in the yard anyway, right? All right, well, talk to you later. This is Don. All right, how do you end this video? Got a new phone? I'll put the cardboard and the compost back around my volunteer tomatoes. I also put more coffee filters and coffee grounds up underneath that cardboard before I put the compost back on top. And as you can see, I've got a bunch of tomato stuff sitting on top. We had a big can of tomatoes that we used in cooking something, and put the rest in the fridge, and it sat in there, and well, we looked at it and it was moldy. So I went ahead and just dumped it here. Had some liquid in it too, so that liquid, you know, of course helps water the plant. And then my son had left a cup of coffee sitting on the counter overnight, and I brought that coffee out and I watered my tomatoes with a cold cup of coffee. But I'm gonna keep working on this, and I'm gonna keep adding to it, and you know, as time goes by, you'll be able to see these tomatoes just take off, because I'm gonna build a frame around this, and I'm gonna put some, I'm gonna put some dirt on top of this, and maybe some potting soil from some of those other plants I've got in containers. So I'm gonna build a frame. I'm gonna put some potting soil mix on top of all that, and then I'll probably come back later with some more compost and mix in with that potting soil. So this will be a good update for you. Anyway, keep coming back, looking at my videos, and you'll be able to see, you know, the progress that I'm doing here. Look at that. I'm already getting little flowers on my volunteer tomatoes already. Anyway, this right here is coffee that was left in the coffee pot that nobody drank, and it sat overnight, and I didn't think it'd be very good for drinking this morning because it probably cooked too long. But anyway, what I do is I take never scalding hot, but I take the cold leftover coffee, and I'll water my tomatoes with it. And well, they say coffee is high in nitrogen content, not too high for the plants, but high enough, to where they'll they'll like it. So anyway, I just kind of pour it around and give them a good watering, good feeding. But this is what I like to see right here. Already getting little flowers on it. Already. That means I'll have tomatoes on this plant before you know it. So several little tomato plants right there. But I've got 2 of them already growing pretty good. And I'll be working on this a little bit later. All right. Volunteer tomatoes. Okay, I'm adding another layer of coffee grounds and coffee filters to my volunteer tomato plant bed that I'm building. And I'm going to keep adding things and adding things and adding things and see what we end up with. So I've got coffee filters. I don't think I'll put the biscuits in there, but like shredded carrots are going bad. We'll put those on there, and more coffee filters. Oops. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. So I take the coffee grounds and I sprinkle them all around, and then I lay the coffee filter down over it. So what I'm doing is I'm creating layers, and as I create layers of different things that I put in here, the compost, the cardboard, the coffee grounds and coffee filters, then it creates a layer of well, mulch, but also nutrients that will eventually attract a lot of worms, of course, which is what I want, and also provide nitrogen for my plants to help them grow. So I guess this is a kind of a weird experiment here. I'm doing composting at the same time I'm trying to grow my tomatoes. But these were volunteer tomatoes, and we're just going to see what happens with them. All right, my wife shredded some carrots. She's going to make some roast with potatoes and carrots. And anyway, I've got the peelings here that, from that. So I'm just going to put them on my little area here, just like I did the other carrots. And just like I said before, I just keep layering things and layering things. And it grows over time and becomes a spot where earthworms are going to want to go just hang out, and they're going to eat. They're probably already all up underneath all this anyway. But yeah, you remember my tomato, the tomatoes I put out here too. Those things shriveled up to practically nothing. But all those little tomato seeds are in there. So we'll just see how that turns out. Okay, my wife had some carrot peelings. I put those on there, and I figured I'd go and put some sticks and things all around it. And I'm going to put a layer of leaves. Those leaves came off of my magnolia tree, so I'm going to go around and pick up a bunch of those and cover up the carrots and put limbs and little sticks and things all around it. And I'm just going to keep layering as time goes. And before long, I'll have a odd mixture of stuff here. So it's going to end up being a sort of a culture compost raised bed planter for my volunteer tomato plant. So I put leaves on there. Most of those leaves are from my magnolia tree. And then I went around and I got different sticks and things and put on it to kind of hold the leaves down over the carrots and coffee grounds that I put in there. And slowly building my bed for my tomato plants. I guess the next step may be to add some compost dirt or something on top of that. Who knows? I'll let you know here in a little bit. All right, to give you an idea of how big the volunteer tomato is right now. Right, you can see him right there. There's a 5-gallon bucket right next to it. Anyway, in this 5-gallon bucket, I've got some potting soil mixture that I had in the shed. It's all dried up and yucky. Whatever was growing in it had, is long gone. You can see a stem or two in there. But I'm gonna put all that, layer it on here, and just keep layering and layering and layering all the way around my tomato. End up with a nice bed here soon. All right, I got that, emptied that bucket onto my little bed I've got going here for my volunteer tomatoes. So anyway, I'm just gonna keep at it as time goes on. All right, it's raining. And looky there, the volunteer tomatoes. You get rained on. All right.